So speed equals to initial speed plus acceleration times time. Relax guys, this isn't another physics class. Today we're going to speak about the difference between a boss and a leader. Do you know the differences? Stay there and we'll speak about them. Last week, Humberto Rocha brought a reflection about how we calculate results. Are results a sum or a multiplication of factors? Today, we'll talk about leadership, bringing the boss versus leader polemic. We will see an example and also a comparison to illustrate that difference that might not seem so clear, at least in the denomination at the first glance. As usual, I try to use simple examples in order to bring the topic to our daily context. But how to approach this boss versus leader difference with our daily context? Let me tell you, it took a little bit long to find out this simple example to illustrate that. Certainly, when you studied on elementary school, you had several teachers. To keep the classroom in order, each and every one of them had their own techniques, their own methods. Some won respect by fear, maybe by punishing some students who didn't behave. Others talked more, captivated students. The effect regarding order was absolutely the same, but definitely in the second case, the memory of that teacher is more tender. And the second kind of teacher had a much less chance to have a character or nice words written on the bathroom door. Do you agree? Even with the same students, those teachers act differently to keep the order and achieve the goal of transmitting the knowledge. The teacher who used power to impose respect by fear acts as the classroom boss, while the other one who captivated and inspired students used the authority to keep order respectfully, leading the students. Notice I use the words power and authority in a distinct way. I believe these two words summarize the differences in behavior and attitude between a boss and a leader. In a simple analogy with the professional environment, we can easily see the same differences and behaviors from bosses and leaders. In the professional environment, the same management position can be occupied by both types of professionals. I had already the opportunity to live with bosses and leaders, and for me, the difference is just huge. This topic can be subjects of a book, of studies, treating behavior and differences, results and trends, but the goal here is to keep it simple and illustrate those differences. Let's see a small comparison I made for you. Leaders listen, while bosses only hear. Leaders inspire, while bosses demand. Leaders use the word we, bosses use the word I. Leaders share and communicate, bosses keep everything secret. Leaders seek for solutions when bosses seek for guilties. Leaders are always side by side. Bosses are always trying to be above. Leaders think about people. Bosses think only about numbers and results. Leaders use empathy. Bosses think only about themselves. With this simple comparison, I believe you were able to think about who is around you and also to make a reflection on how you behave. The traditional boss model is increasingly getting weak. More and more teams are valuing someone who develops instead of only looking at numbers and results. Someone who not only allow but also encourages the growth of each individual within the team. The leader, acting with empathy and humility, manages to have a more appropriate communication. He or she can understand the difficulties of his team. This way it's possible to help overcoming any obstacle that might arise. This leader gives also space to listen to alternatives that will certainly come from his team. Let me give you another example. In the movie Braveheart, starring Mel Gibson, his character William Wallace brought some leadership aspects, and I'm gonna bring two to discuss with you. First one, a leader motivates and gives example. In the speech in front of his army when they were definitely outnumbered, he said, "Fight and you may die, run and you may live for a while." And in the end of that speech, he said, "They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom." In this speech, he motivated the team who were cheering with him, and he also gave the example because he was not speaking from a balcony. He was together with the team, with his army, fighting in the field. Second one, seek for a bigger goal, a legacy. A leader look for the goal, for the big thing, a legacy. He won many battles throughout that movie, but he was really looking for the freedom of his people. Managing with the leader behavior, the team will be committed and the result will come as a consequence of this leader-employee relationship. It is a two-way path. It's a win-win situation. And remember this phrase, the boss has the position, the leader has the people. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to the channel, give the thumbs up, and I'll be next week back with you for more content about lean and leadership. See you then.